These are the things you should have in your hand. First is your passport with the visa. Second, have the address where you're going to stay in that country. The address where you're going to be staying, if it is at the hotel, have the hotel booking with you. If it is at your relative's place, make sure you have their address. You can show them their address, your relative's address, or you have written it down. If you know it by heart, it is also okay, but it is rather better you write it down for the purpose of this question, as in so that you can easily answer these questions. And as you step in the line, you'll hear next, please, and this is when you'll step forward and the immigration officer will ask you, your passport, please. As you hand in the passport, they look at it, they will tell you, they might tell you, look into the camera. It depends on the country. Some countries don't do this, but other countries do it. So if you hear it, you look into the camera, and next they will tell you your fingerprint, and they will verify you are the owner of that visa. Now, other questions that arise are, what is the purpose of your visit? Visiting a friend, or visiting a relative, or touring the country on my own, or you have gone through a conference, or you have gone to an exhibition, or you have traveled on a business visa, or you have traveled there as you're going to work, or you're going as an intern. You say the purpose of your visit. Now let us take the example of business. Maybe you have traveled on a business conference, so you say, I am going to attend a 3-day or a 5-day conference in Berlin, and from there I'll be flying to Dusseldorf, or I'll be flying to this other city to tour for another 6 days, and together those are the 11 days. For example, if it is the purpose, your purpose of visit is to visit a friend, you're going to say, I am going to visit my friend in Las Vegas for 4 days, and my other 6 days I'll be flying to Washington to attend this exhibition, or to do some shopping, or to do this and this, and from there I booked my return ticket. This is where I'll be flying from to return back home. Where are you going to be staying? Where does your friend stay? You have to be able to know maybe where your friend or your relative stays. This is what I told you from the beginning, to have the address. And also, if it is you're going to stay at a hotel, know the hotel or have the hotel booking. It is easy for you to show where you're going to stay. Another question would be, how long do you plan to stay in Germany, or how long do you plan to stay in Holland? You have to be specific and say maybe for 11 days. Look at your visa, the duration of your visa. This is the duration you will also have to say. And then maybe starting from 30th to this date, but it's rather easier to say the length of what your visa was, the visa that was given to you in your passport, okay? Catch the length and the duration so that you can be able to answer correctly. Also, if they ask, do you have a return ticket? Yes, if you have a short-term visa, it is very important, guys, very, very important. Always have a return ticket. And they could also ask you, do you have any other acquaintances you know in this country? Acquaintances means any other person or any other person you know, friend. If you don't have, say I do not have. If you have traveled as a tourist and you already said you don't have at the embassy, then you have to stick to you don't have, because then you do not have. So do not contradict with yourself. Make sure you're straight to the point. What is your profession? Here, a student is not a profession, so you just say I am a student if you do not have a profession. There are some students who also have professions, so those ones can. But if in your passport you have your profession is there, say what is in your passport, that is your profession, or the job you are doing. If you get confused by the word profession, the job you're doing, that is your profession. If you are a doctor, your profession is a doctor. If you're doing nursing, your profession is a nurse. The job you do is your profession. But for students, that is not a profession. You just say, I am a student, if you're a student. And the question of, do you plan to work in this country? Of course, you do not plan to work, or you have not come to work. If you have come for a conference, you have come to visit your relative, but they ask it. So you say, no, I do not plan to work. If you have come to work, of course, it will be obvious. You say, I have come to work and I plan to work. If you have come as a student, of course, student visas, usually students, they are allowed to work those mini jobs. When it comes to German, you are allowed to work the 450 job, that is the mini job. So you can say, yes, I plan to work, because your visa allows you to work. But if your visa does not allow you to work, this is where you're going to also be knowledgeable about it and say, no, I'm not planning to work in your country. Hope these immigration questions help you when you go at the airport for the purposes of your travel.